Well, hey, we are two Star Wars nerds, and we are back with another wisdom talk. So excited for these.
Yes.
We hear a lot of good feedback about these. You guys like them, so we're gonna keep making them. We enjoy
them.
Yeah,
we love them.
we really do. And as it stands, we're gonna be going through the opening quotes of the Clone Wars. For now, eventually we're gonna run out of them, and we'll move on to books, movies, other things. But this one, out of Season 5, Episode 20 of The Clone Wars, it says, "Never give up hope, no matter how dark things seem." I feel like that is so good and so relevant for things going on right now. You know, just I've heard from a lot of people that, you know, the past 18 months has been incredibly difficult, you know, as if just normal day-to-day life hasn't been hard, you know, just things feel compounded. But let's just, you know, people like going deep.
Let's do it.
On the wisdom talks.
Let's do it.
So let's do it. You know, my stepmom, when we got married in 2012, we found out she was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer, and she was given 6 months to live. By the grace of God, she actually lived well over 2 years after that diagnosis. Tremendous breakthroughs in her heart. Honestly, miraculous things. The fact that the stuff she went through like chemo and radiation and experimental drugs, insanity. She should have lost hope.
Yeah.
She really should have. And I remember the day. It was like one of the last times like we talked to her. Essentially, she was just like, she's just done. She's just like, I don't want to be in pain anymore. Essentially, she was just like, I just want to be with Jesus. You know, I just want to be with him. And I just remember like seeing something different, seeing that spark of hope, because
you see it fade away. You see it flicker out.
Yeah, and it was the most wild thing. Literally the next day is when she passed away, and it's just so wild, and it's so many years ago now, but it was seeing that hope was something that had kept her going. And then I would say rightfully so, when she's like, I'm ready, you know, that's an extreme circumstance. But I think there's something to that when we look at the extreme and we scale it back. That I think there's parts of our lives where we can give up hope prematurely, and things can be really dark, really painful, and it's really easy to just say, enough's enough. I'm just going to give in and just let this steamroll me. But I've noticed on the flip side of that, when you hold on to hope and when you actually persevere, you know, this endurance is built in you, but then that's when the spectacular happens. That's when strength comes, and that's where honestly some pretty amazing things happen. You know, I have stories for days. I do, but I want to hear from you on this, and I'll say the story I have in my mind for the end. But because I know you have a lot of wisdom to impart and share from this.
I think hope is a beautiful and powerful thing, and I think we don't realize how important and really powerful it is until you don't have it. There's been so many times in our life, not as extreme as obviously your stepmom. She's an amazing woman, but not as extreme personally, but there's been those times where like I want to give up, and then I remember why I'm doing something, or I just go to God, and he reminds me, and he stirs me up, and he puts faith back into me, and that reminds me and brings the hope to my mind so I can keep going. Because if I don't have hope, if I don't have something to grab onto, there's no point. I can just sit back and dwell in the darkness, I guess. But with hope can pull you out of the darkness. Hope keeps you going. Hope is powerful. Without hope, you kind of stay stagnant and you don't move. You just let whatever happens. You kind of just become a victim when you don't have hope. But when you have hope, you're victorious, and you're pushing through and persevering and enduring and all these crazy things. But what we have to remember is just because you have hope doesn't mean you have no problems. It doesn't mean that it's easy. It means with hope you can get through anything. And knowing where my hope is, no matter what I face, I can get through anything.
No, that's right on. Hope is not a cure-all. It's not saying that all your problems dissipate. That's so true. But hope is something that will keep you going.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And, even two thoughts. The first I have is with this quote, never give up hope, no matter how dark things seem. Understand, even in nature, that there's a cycle. It is cyclical, that the sun will come up. Mm-hmm. And, it is always darkest before the sun comes up. It's always darkest before dawn. And there's I think in the night seasons of people's lives, it's really easy to believe that light will never come again. And that it's easy to just say it's perpetually dark within my soul, and you can get all poetic and gloom and doom. But when you realize that by design there is, so to speak, a light at the end of the tunnel. There is a light that will come. Mm-hmm. You can choose to live in darkness your whole life. You really can. Yeah. But there's something I've noticed about if you're in a dark room and you flick on the light, you realize there's not a resistance that takes place. As soon as that illumination takes, everything leaves.
Right.
And maybe you're like, hey, that's a dark, shadowy corner over there. I didn't realize I don't have hope over there. All you got to do is move the light or turn on another light.
Yep.
And I found that hope does that. And you see that things aren't really as bad as they are. But even to circle, let's take it from the abstract and maybe the philosophical, religious, however you want to view this, and bring it to Star Wars. Think about Star Wars, A New Hope. When you look at, granted, we're going to step back from 1977 for a second. When you look at Order 66, when you look at the events of the prequels, when you look at all the Jedi did, and you would say that is the darkest time. There is no hope. And literally, we will all remember that line. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. There's Princess Leia was holding on to that. And it's like, if I can just keep holding on, something's going to change. There was this vision she had, and she's like, man, I believe something will happen. And look at the rebellion. Yep. The rebellion wins, And I just think there's something to that, obviously in escapism like Star Wars, but then in real life too. When you choose to hold on to hope, I'm telling you, darkness has to go. It just can't stay.
And with Princess Leia, it wasn't like, oh, everyone had hope. Like, I think, I think it's almost, normally you're probably going to be the outsider having the hope of those around you when you're facing dark things. But Princess Leia had the hope, and she hung on to the hope, and you saw what happened because of that.
Yeah. And, even in kind of wrapping this down, the whole point of these wisdom talks is hopefully to affect the rest of your week, to affect your life once you turn off this video. That, maybe you escaped from reality for a few minutes, but hopefully this gives you something to think about, something to meditate on, something to stir within you where you can be like, you know what? Where's that area of my life where I have no hope? Mm-hmm. And so I would ask yourself that question, where do I need an infusion of hope? And just start getting your hopes up. Yep. Lift your head up. Yeah. And I'm telling you, it's not fool's gold. It's not a snake oil. Hope is potent and hope is powerful.
Yep. Amen.
So with that, we are two Star Wars nerds. We are feeling the season.
Merry Christmas.
We got a bunch of fun stuff planned. So it's going to be super fun. But with that, we are two Star Wars nerds. May the Force be with you always.